language. Later on, Doran Ngube will join us from our Montreux studios in Bulawayo.
Let's start off with
Mnangagwa meets Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Well, the strong relations between the two countries coming under the spotlight. We will be giving you details on that.
Burial of a national hero, the late Brigadier General retired Shadrack Ndabambi, is set for this Wednesday.
We'll look at your business news, where the national infrastructure has been identified as key to the growth of the tourism industry. We will hear from tourism players.
Later on in sport, the construction of International Cricket Stadium in Victoria Falls progressing well.
Let's start with tonight's top story. President Emmerson Mnangagwa met his Chinese counterpart, President Xi Jinping, in Beijing today, with two leaders agreeing on the need to deepen existing relations between Zimbabwe and China. Our diplomatic correspondent, Josephine Mugio, is in China.
Upon arrival at the Great Hall, national anthems were played, after which President Mnangagwa inspected a guard of honor. The two leaders proceeded to a meeting where President Xi Jinping noted how Zimbabwe-China relations continue to strengthen for mutual benefit.
In recent years, with the joint stewardship of you and me, our political mutual trust have continued to deepen. Cooperation between our two countries have yielded more results, and our ironclad cooperation have become stronger. This has set a fine example of unity and collaboration between developing countries. We need to follow the founding aspiration of this relationship, firmly support each other, and build a high-level China-Zimbabwe community with a shared future, contribute more impetus to the development and rejuvenation of our respective countries, and contribute our strengths to the building of a community with a shared future for mankind.
President Mnangagwa noted how the two nations have been working together on several fronts since his last visit in 2018, thereby bolstering relations.
I applaud you, Your Excellency, and dear brother, for the innovations, state-of-the-art, high-tech industries that China has developed under your visionary leadership. Trailblazing companies such as BYD Company, Huawei, Sony, and Nari help leapfrog development, riding on new renewable technologies for a greener planet. Since my last state visit in 2018, relations between Zimbabwe and China have grown from strength to strength under the comprehensive strategic partnership of cooperation. The people of Zimbabwe are grateful for the invaluable support and the life-saving COVID-19 vaccines you sent to us, personnel protective equipment, the deployment of medical teams to assist in Zimbabwe's health sector. We can never forget.
The two leaders also witnessed the signing of several memoranda of understanding (MOUs) to facilitate further cooperation in various sectors, including mining, legal matters, agriculture, and the media. President Mnangagwa went on to meet Chinese Premier Mr. Li Jiang, where the need to explore more areas of cooperation for mutual benefit took center stage.
Although our two countries are separated by long distances, we have a profound traditional friendship. As early as in 1960s, when Zimbabwe was having its great struggle for national independence and liberation, the people of China stood firmly together with the people of Zimbabwe, and we forged a special camaraderie. I believe that we need to work together to cherish that precious memory of both countries.
President Mnangagwa highlighted some of the tangible projects that have materialized from relations with China, including the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport and the new Parliament building.
Through the technical and financial support of China, Zimbabwe has completed signature infrastructure projects which have a far-reaching impact not only on our country, but the Southern Africa region as a whole. These projects include the RG, that is Robert Mugabe International Airport, It's one of the most modern airports in our region. Wange Expansion Project, Unit 7 and 8, as well as the Net 1 Broadband Expansion Project. Zimbabwe was pleased to host the recent 44th Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government in Harare at the new parliament building constructed through a grant from China and built by your people.
President Mnangagwa will join fellow heads of state from the African continent at the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC, which will be held over the next 2 days. Meanwhile, earlier on, President Mnangagwa laid a wreath at the Tiananmen Square in Beijing. The Tiananmen Square contains the monument of the people's heroes, the Great Hall of the People, the National Museum of China, and the Mausoleum of Chairman Mao Zedong. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Beijing.
Vice President Comrade Kembo Mohadi has stressed the need to upscale value addition and beneficiation in the mining sector. He was enunciating Zimbabwe's Vision 2030 through sustainable mining at the just-ended high-level forum on multi-stakeholder partnerships and Second Indonesia-Africa Forum in Bali.
The growth of the mining sector is a key target within the National Development Strategy 1. Addressing delegates at the high-level meeting in Bali, Vice President Comrade Kembo Mohadi noted that value addition in the mining sector is key to growing economies and promoting entrepreneurial initiatives for emerging economies.
Most of the minerals from Africa have been exported in their raw or semi-processed form, resulting in loss of revenue and transfer of debt opportunity. Africa Mining Vision, AVM, a brainchild of the African Union's Commission, Continental Industry Initiatives, encourages African countries to prioritize local mineral beneficiation and value addition. The government of Zimbabwe is capacitating small-scale gold miners through the provision of equipment for mineral processing and setting up centralized gold service centers. Currently, small-scale miners account for about 60% of total gold production in my country, Zimbabwe.
With the mining sector accounting for 16% of the country's gross domestic product, Vice President Mohadi revealed government is putting in place measures to sustainably extract mineral resources to create impactful transformation, alleviate poverty, and strengthen Zimbabwe's economic development. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe and Indonesia have signed 2 memoranda of understanding in the health sector on the sidelines of the forum. Vice President Mohadi said the agreements are a commitment to strengthening the two countries' healthcare sectors.
It does symbolize quite a lot of things. I think it's the beginning of many things to come. Because as I made my point yesterday that we need to have a joint permanent commission to discuss a number of things that involve both or either side, that is Indonesia and ourselves. And it is from those JPCs that we are going to discover quite a number of areas that would maybe get us to sign more MOUs, because it's going to further our cooperation.
Indonesian Health Minister Honorable Budi Gunadi Sadikin weighed in, saying the collaboration in health is a positive step towards increased cooperation.
We learned from COVID-19 that kills more than 7 million people globally that this enemy, they don't recognize what race you are, what country you are. They don't recognize borders. They just swipe all over the world, kill humanity, whatever country and races you are. So that is a strong reason that we need to work together.
Zimbabwe is looking to achieve universal health coverage under its inclusive development mantra of leaving no one and no place behind. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Bali.
Now, a funeral parade has been held for the late national hero, Brigadier General retired Shadrack Ndabambi, who died on the 28th of last month.
Colleagues, friends and relatives converged at the Charles Kumbo Barracks in Harare for a military parade of the late Brigadier General retired Shadrack Ndabambi. Zimbabwe National Army Commander Lieutenant General Anselm Sanyatwe described the late national hero as a dedicated and loyal military man.
We must not forget the sacrifices that he and the other heroes and the heroines paid for the liberation of freedom of our motherland, Zimbabwe. It remains a great challenge to us all to defend the values that they stood and fought for. We must therefore defend Zimbabwe's independence and sovereignty at all costs, taking a leaf from the life of the late general. His untimely death is very saddening and painful, not only to you as family members, but to all peace-loving Zimbabweans.
The late national hero's death has also robbed the family of a pillar of strength.
Very committed family man, and if there is one thing that I learned from the late, he had no time for idle talk, he had no time for rumor mongering, and a very progressive person.
Hanzvadzi yangu yakaenda kunorwa hondo achisunungura nyika yeZimbabwe apiwa ruremekedzo rwegamba. Tinotenda vaMnangagwa.
The late Brigadier General retired Ndabambi was born on the 1st of December 1956 in Mutoko, where he did his primary education. He would leave college for the liberation struggle and received military training in Mozambique in 1976. He was attested into the National Army at independence in 1980. After retirement from the military, he relocated to his farm in Glendale. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
Meanwhile, the body of the late national hero, Brigadier General retired Shadrack Ndabambi, will lie in state at his farm in Glendale, Mashonaland Central, ahead of burial at the National Heroes Acre in Harare this Wednesday.
The body of the late Brigadier General retired Shadrack Ndabambi, accompanied by his wife Senia Ndabambi, arrived in Glendale late Tuesday afternoon, where it was received by Mashonaland Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Christopher Magomo, Politburo member Comrade Kenneth Musani, senior SANU-PF and government officials.
Minister of Mashonaland Central Province. Ataitirwa nemutungamiriri wenyika kuti tapiwa ruremekedzo rwegamba rwenyika muprovinsi medu. Chiitiko ichi hachingoitiki nje, chiitiko chinoitika maringe nekunge munhu akafamba zvine hwezvo hunoteerwa hwokuti wakatangira pakutariswa pawakatangira kusvika pawo uchiuda kuti hausisimo munyika saizvozvo panooneka pasina pawakajamba jamba.
Isu tauya wepati yenyu iri kutonga ZANU-PF kuti ticheme nemi tichikunyaradzai. Taona ruremekedzo rwauya pano rwamakapuwa nepati yedu ZANU-PF napresident wedu. Ruremekedzo rwamapuwa ndorwepamusoro-soro. Izvozvo ngazvikunyaradze.
Mashonaland Central Permanent Secretary Mr. Timothy Marigere said 10 buses have been provided to ferry mourners to the national shrine.
Kwarongwa mabhazi 10 ezupuka achatakura vanhu kubva kuno kumazowe nemamadistrict ari padhuze kuenda kuHeroes Acre. Saka mabhazi acho atova muno muconstituents most of them. Saka mungwana makuseni achakasimuka kuenda kuHarare.
Burial is scheduled to take place at the National Heroes Acre in Harare this Wednesday. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Mazowe.
The ZANU-PF Manicaland Provincial Coordinating Committee met in Mutare this Tuesday and resolved to request President Emmerson Mnangagwa to lead the country until 2030.
Calls for President Emmerson Mnangagwa to extend his term of office beyond 2028 are being amplified, with the Manicaland ZANU-PF PCC uniting in the call ahead of the ruling party's annual National People's Conference set for October in Bulawayo. Manicaland ZANU-PF Vice Chairperson Comrade Linda Matatu read the proposed conference resolutions.
Cognizant and acknowledging the developmental achievements by the Second Republic under the stewardship of His Excellency, the President Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa, ZANU-PF Manicaland Province resolves that His Excellency Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa continues to serve the nation as President and First Secretary of ZANU-PF up to 2030 and beyond.
The meeting emphasized the importance of unity within the party, with the development works being spearheaded by President Mnangagwa being cited as the rallying point to extend his term of office.
Tine mega market wheat milling plant irapa inomila 300 tons pazuwa kana zvese zvakaringana. Tine Willerton company Willerton iri kuita majarini nesipo iri ready for commissioning. Tine avako yatakabva kuita tuwa manje iri kuita avocado oil. Saka tinovatenda baba Mnangagwa ende sekutaura vama muchiita shuwa kuti zvino tichiti 2030 tiri kumboti tiri kuti ngavanga varipo nekuti mabasa acho tiri kuaona.
Isusu tabva takasunga zvetakasunga kuManicaland ndo zvatiri kuenda nazvo kupi kuconference.
Resolution yekutaura zviri panhuna pako pamwoyo pako iyo ndabata munomu iri panhuna pemunhu wese muno ngekuti president waMnangagwa ngawaramba waripo kusvika 2030. Zviri kubva pamabasa aitwa nawo Mnangagwa under the Second Republic. Mabasa atiri kuona tose kuti izvi zvakaitwa.
Other recommendations include decentralization of the Chitepo School of Ideology, enforcing public entities to implement audit reports recommendations, continuation of road rehabilitation works, construction of sporting facilities, as well as financing the expansion of Manicaland State University. Kenya Stivuje, ZBC News, Mutare.
Now, in a related development, recommendations for President Emmerson Mnangagwa to lead the nation until 2030, coming on the backdrop of his announcement that he will abide by the country's constitution, a message which he reiterated during an engagement with the diaspora community in Beijing. That was on Monday.
Ndakataura kuti ini am a constitutionalist. Zvinoreva kuti ndotevedza mutemo nebumbiro mutemo ndinolitevedza chaizvo. Zvakarezve ndini umwe wakarinyora. Saka ava munotavo makuwa navo muchiti kuda shefa vangazowedzera makore aboda handiti. Ndine ndima yangu yandakapiwa nevanhu veziva. Kana yapera kuchaya mazotora ndima dzavowo. So this question of having a third term does not arise, especially under my watch. No, I'm in my second term and I already know the death ratio and each vapa chigaro not one 2028 ndoenda kumba kopinda vamu. So kana kuna mwana kufurira vafurire kuti bodo azvisizvo zvinofungwa nababa.
A new hospital is nearing completion in Kadoma, with the private sector being commended for complementing government efforts towards universal health coverage.
Kadoma's Ifo Flats Private Hospital is the latest addition to the country's health sector, feeding into government's efforts to ensure health access for all. The health facility, which confirms the success of public-private partnerships, has a capacity of at least 42 private wards, while also providing one-stop services.
We have got an optical department, radiology department, lab, pharmacy, outpatient, casualty, rehabilitation, dialysis, 2 theatres, one what we call a dead theatre and the one that we call a big theatre, the main theatre. We have got a mortuary as well.
The facility's co-founder and director, Dr. Anesuka Sangaya, spoke on the need for the private sector to embrace infrastructure development opportunities availed by government to modernize health services.
We are locals, we trained outside through a government scholarship. We decided to come back and we are investing in our own land. You call it private simply because it doesn't have direct government investment. But when it comes to service provision, there's nothing like private service provision.
Mashonaland West Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Marian Chombo, is convinced the development will propel the country towards achieving Vision 2030 health targets.
Iye zvino tichitaura muono waPresident wekuti leave no place and no one behind. Definitely the services have been brought up to the people right here. And what's really fascinating is it's done by vana vemuno muZimbabwe.
Government is on a drive to ensure citizens have access to health facilities within a 5-kilometer radius as the country journeys towards achieving universal health coverage. Chamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Kadoma.
Now, more than 150 small to medium enterprises run by women and young people are being accommodated at a newly constructed complex in Mbare.
The newly constructed complex, which houses more than 150 small-scale businesses, has brought relief to the beneficiaries who are already enjoying brisk business.
Takushandawo parismati hatichisina madhaka even chere kukanaya nzvimbo yedu yakanaka even kana makastoma ane parking yakanaka
kana mvura yakanaya izvozvi zvichiri safe plus makastoma ine zvakunyasomhanya achiuya achitenga nekuti tane pekushandira pakanaka.
Makastoma pane mamwe aitotya kumbara achiti tinongodawo uptown, but as of now we've got vanhu vanouya veuptown vakuyawo vachifarirawo space they can drive through, nokwanisa kupinda nemota yako driver wopaka pamberi peshop wotora zvada kutora wongoenda.
Makastoma ari kuwandisa ende shop yedu kunanga kwayakaita kana vatitirawo zvakanaka kunze chero munhu anopinda mukati anofanira kungonochi.
Shoppers are equally pleased with the development.
Kare taitotya kushopa zvinhu mumashopu nekuda kwembavha. Pari zvino takuona kuti zvinhu zvaita zvakanaka wakutonyatsopinda kana ndisina kubata chikwama changu ndichizeza mbavha.
Complex yakagadzirwa zvakanaka. Mashops anonyatsoonekwa kuti ndinoda kupinda umu.
Hatichakwanise kubirwa ndakutenga zvakasununguka.
A youthful organization, JB Family, is satisfied to be complementing government efforts to ensure small businesses have conducive workspaces.
We are now happy that we've managed to create a place which is very marketable in terms of its outlook, in terms of the facelift of Mbare. You can actually see that it shows a lot of sanity has been brought to Mbare.
The construction of the complex dovetails with government's empowerment agenda, which is in sync with Vision 2030, as it will provide employment and boost incomes as the Second Republic forges ahead with the leaving no one and no place behind philosophy. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
The 7th Africa Tourism Leadership Forum is underway in Gaborone, Botswana, with tourism leaders, policymakers and innovators from across the globe attending.
The Pan-African Dialogue Platform serves as a unique opportunity for industry leaders to network, share ideas and develop strategy to boost intra-Africa travel and tourism. Zimbabwe's top envoy to Botswana, Ambassador Batsiraishe Henry Mkono-Weshuro, said the conference is set to redefine the future of African tourism, with the country hoping to lure more buyers and visitors.
The idea is to try and leverage the formation of the Africa Free Trade Continental, AFCTA, so that we infuse tourism as part of free trade and also encouraging the movement of persons. We have to open up our borders, we have to open up our skies.
Zimbabwe and Botswana attach great importance to economic diplomacy, which is already propelling increased trade and regional integration. The forum is being held under the theme, Charting a New Path Forward for Intra-Africa Travel, Tourism and Investments, reflecting commitment to fostering sustainable growth and collaboration across Africa's travel, tourism and investment sectors. The 4-day conference will also reward and celebrate innovation, excellence and transformative initiatives pioneered by Africans for Africans in Africa. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Gaborone.
Now, the Commission of Inquiry into the governance of the Harare City Council continues. This time, a senior staffer in the local authority has been found wanting after failure to account for some employees that were engaged at Town House.
Appearing before the Commission of Inquiry into the governance of the Harare City Council this Tuesday, the Local Authorities Human Resources Committee Chairperson Councillor George Mjajat could not account for the number of employees on the City Council's payroll.
We have had fora where we have discussed this, and I think it's about somewhere plus or minus 10,000. But it's not, I don't have the exact figure. What I don't have is the exact figure.
How are you able to ensure that your council employees are adhering to those guidelines if you don't know the number of people you employ?
That is an oversight that I must correct from now on.
Chairperson of the inquest, retired High Court Judge Justice Mafios Cheda, warned Mjajat against being evasive.
To be false or not knowing or believing it to be true shall be guilty of an offense and liable to a fine not exceeding level 7 or to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 2 years, or to both such fine and such imprisonment. This is what is facing you now. Do you understand? Do you understand? That's it. Right, fine. Make up your mind.
Earlier on, Harare City Council Housing Development Officer Edgar Zeonye admitted deterioration of governance issues with regards to allocation of stands, saying it has reached alarming levels, with illegal parceling out of land being the order of the day. The inquest has so far unearthed a web of alleged corruption activities within the Harare City Council, including squandering of millions of United States dollars in and unsanctioned workshops and illegal parceling out of thousands of hectares of land. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Remember, these and more stories are also available on our website. Do visit www.zbcnews.co.zw.
Yep, and we're also available on social media. You can find us ZBC News Online, where we also welcome those of you joining us on our Facebook live stream, those of you across the world. And you can also find us on YouTube as well. Just go on ZBC News Online. But there are more stories on the other side of the break. Business news.
In business news, national infrastructure, a major impetus to the growth of the tourism industry.
We will hear from tourism players when we bring you business news. And later on in your sport, the construction of International Cricket Stadium in Victoria Falls is progressing well. We will check on update on what has happened so far. To join us on the other side.
Attention, travel and tourism industry professionals, get ready for the Sanganai Hlanganani 2024 Africa's premier business exchange, happening September 12th to the 14th in Bulawayo at the ZITF grounds. Over 400 exhibitors and over 100 international buyers, media across the globe will interface as the 17th edition of Sanganai Hlanganani World Tourism Expo. Never take a chance to be left out to expose your business to the world. Take advantage of the networking platforms. Establish strategic business partnerships with world tourism players. Showcase your destination, products and services. Derive value from well-structured and informative international tourism forums and conferences. Join us at Sanganai Hlanganani 2024. Africa's premier business exchange awaits. See you there.
Want to pay for your DSTV account or renew your DSTV subscription? Dial *151# to pay for your DSTV with your EcoCash USD wallet anywhere, anytime, and get connected instantly. No need to wait in a queue or ask anyone to pay for DSTV anymore. To subscribe for your DSTV package with your EcoCash USD wallet, simply dial *151#, select USD currency, select Make Payments, select Direct Payments, select Pay DSTV, select Renew Subscription, and you will be connected instantly. Live life the EcoCash way.
When I started out, life was tough. The borehole was far from our home, but we had no other choice. Although it was hard, I learned I was not alone. The other women supported me. They helped make the burden a little lighter. But I was determined to build a better life for my family. I started my own small business. We moved to a better house, and slowly, very slowly, life got better. Today, my business is thriving, and I'm able to provide for my family. What we experienced made us who we are today, and I'm grateful for the friends who are there for me. After all, we all need a friend. Zimgold, your trusted friend.
Welcome back. You are still watching the main news. Now, the heritage-based education 5.0 learning model continues to bear fruit as tertiary institutions promote innovations and technological development towards attainment of an industrialized and modernized nation. Let's hear more in the next report.
A Technovation Expo at Harare Institute of Technology HIT has unveiled a number of innovations by Zimbabwean students, proving that the Education 5.0 model is transforming the country's education sector. The innovations include an enterprise resource planning system, proctoring system, and an accident detection system.
Product yedu an ERP system yatinayo iri kubvisa paperwork zvavaita manual housing yavo vaita manual kuti zvoni munhu akaregister pawaiting list ari kuita manual vozotanga kutsvaga mapepa kana auda kurenew. Now system yedu inoratidza kuti zvoni waiting list yako ya expire wakufana kurenew.
This is what we call a proctoring system. This is where we monitor someone as they're writing an examination. It can be an online exam when you're at home, or online exam when you are somewhere far from where an invigilator or a proctor or an examination session can be taken place.
We have accident detection system. So what happens is, like, the car will have sensors on either side of the car. So if there's an impact, let's say from this side, the sensor would then call the emergency numbers.
HIT Vice Chancellor Engineer Quinton Kanukamwe is impressed by the students' work ethic and quality of the inventions.
We are also demonstrating the practicality of Education 5.0. Its prowess in terms of moving knowledge out of the university boundaries to various sectors of the economy.
Government has set up innovation hubs at state-owned tertiary institutions across the country to promote the heritage-based Education 5.0 model to produce graduates who are fully equipped for the industrialization and modernization agenda. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
We're now crossing over to the city of kings and queens. That's at our Montrose studios in Bulawayo, where Dora Ngube is on standby with more news. It's over to you, Dora.
Thank you so much, Joyce and Patla, for taking us on. A lovely evening to you. And in our next report, farmers from Churugwi are the latest to benefit under government's livestock drought mitigation program. The details.
In a proactive response to the El Nino-induced drought, government is accelerating livestock feed distribution to rural farmers, with Shurugwi district the latest to benefit. The initiative is part of the Second Republic strategy to support farmers across the country and ensure the sustainability of livestock farming during periods of harsh weather conditions.
Tanga tava dambudziko guru zvokuti dzimwe dzinomwisa dzimwe dzina mazamu saka chikafu changa chava chedambudziko saka pakati pezuva ranhasi ndafara zvikuru.
Ndafara zvikuru nechikafu chemombe chatapiwa napresident. Ini ndandine mombe 22 dzikafa 6 ndikasaregwa ne16 saka ndakuenda kunobatsira dzacho idzo dzokuti dei dzaraga kufa.
Shurugwi South Legislator Honorable Wilson Muri applauded government's efforts, highlighting the importance of the program in preserving the national herd.
Varimi vedu vanga vane dambudziko rechikafu, dambudziko remishonga yokuti vararamise mombe dzanga dzimwe dzaita dambudziko, dzimwe mombe dzedu dzimwe dzakatofa, saka toda kuti mombe dzedu dziri kurarama idzodzo dziwane kuti dzirarame.
Government is creating a robust decentralized system of support, empowering farmers to safeguard their cattle from the impact of the El Nino-induced drought. Karajushe, ZBC News, Shirogwe.
Business people have been called upon to cooperate with the enumerators during the economic census set for next year. This comes as the Zimbabwe National Statistics Agency, ZimStat officers are on the ground training enumerators for the census.
The Zimbabwe National Statistics Agency, ZimStat, has called upon business people across the country to cooperate during the economic census, which begins early next year.
Right now, beginning on the 1st of September, we are now training enumerators for the listing phase. The listing phase is a phase where the enumerators are now going back into the different business enumeration areas that we obtained in order to get more comprehensive information about the businesses that we are going to then enumerate in the beginning of the year 2025.
Economist Mr. Maurice Mbala believes the data obtained from the economic census will provide a comprehensive picture of the national economic landscape.
This census is going to bring about a lot of information where people need to work on, or where we're lagging, or where we need to increase our critical skill, or where we need to increase our production. So a lot of things will depend on the information data that will come out of it. And that's very crucial for us to be able to make informed decisions based on what's happening on the ground.
The economic census will be the first of its kind in Zimbabwe, and it will run under the theme, Counting Every Business, Shaping Economic Policies.
Government is disseminating information on the 2024 Rural Livelihoods Assessment findings at district and provincial levels to enhance food security and nutrition.
The initiative is meant to gather feedback on the assessment findings and evaluate the effectiveness of government interventions to address food insecurity and malnutrition. Director General of the Food and Nutrition Council, Dr. George Kembo, highlighted that the primary objective of the exercise is to engage communities and discuss the assessment results.
Our intention is to interact with them. We identified a problem, but you recall that government responded with strategies to address food insecurity and malnutrition related issues. So now what we are doing is to say, to what extent were the statistics more pure and correct, and to what extent are the response sensitive to the statistics that came out of the ZimVac.
The process involves various stakeholders, including government officials, development partners, chiefs and village heads.
We discovered that 2% of households are receiving adequate nutrition diets, and also that currently with the El Nino-induced drought, there is poor food insecurity in our district.
The 2024 Rural Livelihoods Assessment Report stands as a vital blueprint for Zimbabwe's path forward, illuminating the complexities of rural livelihoods and guiding the development of tailored solutions to address the urgent needs of its citizens. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Maramba.
Women from Mashonaland East have benefited from ZANU-PF economic empowerment programs meant to transform lives after receiving 5,000 chicks for poultry projects.
The women who benefited from the presidential poultry pass-on scheme being spearheaded by the ZANU-PF Women's League were ecstatic and are upbeat the program will transform their lives.
Ndiri kukurudzira madzimai kuti panouya zvirongwa zvakadai ngatisasarira shure madzimai. President wedu ane muono kuti Vision 2030 mudzimai wese anenge ane mari dzake muhomwe.
Tinoda kuti tikabudirira watodzidzisawo vamwe vasara kumusha uko toonekwa tichizovapawo tichizovagoyerawo tichagoyerawo kumasere nokumabhuranji.
Tinokumbira kuti president wakaramba wakatitsigira kudai kushupika kana kutambudzika kana kutadza kuchengeta mhuri kunoita kushoma.
The chickens were handed over at the party offices in Marondera. The Women's League leadership implored the beneficiaries to embrace party empowerment programs.
President wakataura kuti munhu wese anofanira kuwana huku marodhirana. Hausi mukana wekuti nguva iri kutonga wa Mnangagwa vanhu vachiri kushamisika nekuti nhasi tadya sadza nehuku. Hazvifanire kushamisa munhu izvozvo. Nenyaya yekuti wa Mnangagwa wakataura kuti huku ngadziende kuvanhu.
kuti makaropa fati navana venyu vamunotungamirira makaropa fati tungamirirei mamwe mapresident nekuti zvikuru tokomhanyana 2030 zvibhoro kumadzimai kumvudza kumadzimai kota kumadzimai zvino munode.
The program comes just a week after youths from the province received cattle under the presidential heifers pass-on scheme, testimony of the empowerment thrust of the ZANU-PF-led government. Gerald Sasa, ZBC News, Marondera.
And that report taking us back to the team at Pocket Cell Studios. Joyce and Butler, it's back to you.
Thank you, Dora, and our team at Montrose Studios for giving us that stretch of the bulletin. The Harare City Council's failure to implement its CBD decongestion plan has come back to haunt the local authority at a time when holding bays and bus terminali constructed at the expense of ratepayers are lying idle.
Chaos remains the order of the day in Harare's central business district, with buses and commuter omnibuses adding to the disorder as they turn the CBD into pick-up and drop-off points. This comes at a time when the local authorities abandoned their plan to decongest the city centre, which saw the construction of the National Sports Stadium bus terminus and Coventry Holding Bay.
Issue ye congestion muno Harare, I think as residents, issue yata tichishaya kuti city of Harare iri kuzviona here.
When they chose that place near the National Sports Stadium, when they also spoke about the Coventry Bay, we expected that they would actually move in and make use of the new facilities.
Harare Mayor Jacob Mafuma said the local authority is looking for funds to complete the projects after realizing that the structures were constructed without requisite amenities, including ablution facilities and shades.
What we need is to find the resources to be able to use in the interim the COGCOM Holding Bay and the NASA Holding Bay. What we will need as the City Council is to find public-private partnerships together with the transport operators and get the funds to utilize these spaces.
Despite the already existing plans, the Harare Mayor has also revealed that the Council is in the process of creating a mass public transport master plan. Patience Nyagato, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, government has reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to empowering learners with cutting-edge skills that will give them an edge to compete at international level.
More than 400 primary school learners from across the country gathered at Samuel Centenary Junior School in Harare this Tuesday for a spelling bee competition that draws the finest of primary school pupils. Winners of this year's competition will have an opportunity to represent the country in Abuja, Nigeria this December, where they will compete with the best and brightest minds from across the globe.
It helps me with my literature, language, and it educates me.
It just helps put everyone from different cultures, who speak different languages, just come together and we unite in this way.
I'm very happy, but also a little bit nervous at the same time.
Samuel Centenary Junior School Principal Mrs. Rumbidzai Tatai is convinced the competition will foster language proficiency while cultivating a reading culture among learners.
As Samuel Centenary Junior School, we are very happy to host this edition this year because this spelling bee helps to motivate other students who are not here. It also helps them to share ideas, pollinate ideas with others, mix and mingle, have a chance to meet new friends.
Government spelled out the significance of the competition in shaping a productive youth demographic.
When we link it to our culture, we are saying for every word that is being spelled, the child first reads the word, then they understand. So you find that these words, when they are in context, they help very much our learners to understand language. So when it comes to culture, language is one of the vehicles for culture.
Government is rolling out several initiatives to transform the education sector, including the introduction of the heritage-based education framework and the Education 5.0 model. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Beyond our country's borders, an attempted prison break in the Democratic Republic of Congo has left over 120 people dead. That and more in the following report.
The DRC government says an investigation is underway after an attempted jailbreak at the Makala Central Prison in the capital Kinshasa this Monday. Reports say heavy gunfire was heard early Monday morning as inmates tried to escape after a fire had broken out in the administration building and the infirmary. In a statement posted on social media platform X this Tuesday, DRC Interior Minister Shabani Luko said 24 people died as a result of gunfire, while around 59 people were injured.
Tunisia's electoral authority has confirmed only 2 candidates are eligible to run for presidential elections. The Tunisian authorities say incumbent President Kais Saied, who leads the relatively small pro-business party, and Zouheir Mazoui, a former left-wing pan-Arabist member of parliament, are eligible for the October 6 elections. 17 individuals had initially submitted their entries in the race for the Tunisian presidency.
The Russian Ministry of Defense says their forces have seized another settlement in the Donetsk region. According to a report, the Russian army used long-range precision weapons and drones to strike Ukraine's energy and defense industrial complex, as well as drone assembly and storage sites. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces says there have been over 100 battles engagement on the front line over the past 24 hours, with the situation still grim as Russia increases its attacks on Ukrainian positions.
Well, that is a look at what is taking place across the world in our regional and international news. On the other side, we still have business news and your sport. Join us then.
This is Africa. And here, we're always on the go. Whoa. There you go. Très bien. So when you're ready to go, Let's go! Let's go, Africa!
Shark on the line!
He took my fish.
Did you see that? I just was like, what?
I really want you to find someone nice who would mean the world to you and make you so happy.
Bernardo Silva, Stones, Foden, a little bit of time. Oh, what a shot! What a goal! What a player!
Welcome back. You are still watching the main news. Taking a look at your business news now, the tourism industry is convinced robust national infrastructure is key to long-term sustainable growth after government's massive investment in airports and roads.
In a media briefing in Harare this Tuesday, Tourism Business Council of Zimbabwe President Mr. Clive Chigwada noted that infrastructure rehabilitation, particularly airports and roads, provides a major impetus to the growth of the tourism industry.
Initially, developments at the Vic Falls Airport, and lately we have also had positive developments at the RGM, our main airport here in Harare. We are also well aware of the latest efforts that have been ongoing, especially with regards to sprucing up of roads. We have already seen the fruits of investment, especially in Victoria Falls. We believe we'll see increased interest from international airlines.
Mr. Chigwada also praised government for its commitment to reduce internet costs, a key driver of tourism growth.
For instance, when we talk around and about the coming in of Starlink, we believe initially our small operators will be able to ride on that. And we also believe that the cost of data itself will continue coming down. And we believe that this will benefit ultimately the tourists and our pricing so that we become more competitive.
The Tourism Business Council of Zimbabwe believes a collaborative partnership with government is key towards reducing the costs of doing business and growth of the tourism industry. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
And that's our business update for this evening. Taking us straight to the arts, where a rising Imbube music group has taken the mining town of Gwanda by storm through a genre the locals can identify with.
The streets of Chahunda in the heart of the mining town of Gwanda are vibrating to traditional sound laced with captivating performances. This is Ofasimba, the home of arts group that can easily be mistaken for the legendary Black Mambazo of South Africa or the Indo-Sakusa of Bulawayo, a rising Imbube group that has taken the music industry by storm. Clad in traditional African print, the group has touched the hearts of all age groups in the mining town with the lyrics embedded in ancient wisdom. Receiving a standing ovation whenever they perform at national events, the group is confident of taking the genre to greater heights.
So iGwanda vele yona ubungekho lo mculo. So siya hlabela izingoma lezana okusho ukuthi sikhangela everyday life ukuthi abantu baphila njani, abantu bafunani, khathi sikulama drugs ahlukuluza abantwana. So ingoma ezinjalo siyazikhanda khonapho sizihlabele.
Thina siyahlabela umculo wegospel, siyahlabela njalo ingoma zesintu, njalo sile ngoma zazi edutainment ukuthi sesifundisa abasakhulayo.
Imbube genre is a form of African vocal music usually comprising male cappella singers with voices in rhythmic unison, which was popularized by groups such as Black Mambazo, Black Umfolosi, Solomon Linda and Indo-Sakusa. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
Exciting stuff. When we come back, we look at your sport. Now, the construction of the 10,000-seater Mosia Tunya International Cricket Stadium in Victoria Falls is progressing well, with the facility expected to transform the city into a regional sporting hub.
Zimbabwe is co-hosting the 2026 Under-19 Cricket World Cup alongside Namibia and the 2027 Men Cricket World Cup with South Africa and Namibia. The Mosia Tunya International Cricket Stadium is one of the key elements of the wider infrastructure investment plan by Zimbabwe Cricket.
A lot of earthworks and earth moving has been happening. I think the leveling of the academy pitch and also the main pitch is progressing very well.
Zimbabwe National Geospatial and Space Agency, a parastatal under the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development, is the main contractor. The stadium, which will predominantly host cricket matches, is being designed as a multi-purpose facility to host other sporting events. The cricket stadium, which is a flagship for the Masue Special Economic Zone in Victoria Falls, is also expected to be a catalyst for tourism and economic growth. Other multi-million-dollar towering projects under the Masue Special Economic Zone include a convention center with associated hotels and villas, a golf estate, a medical tourism facility, a commercial central business district, an international service center, and high-end residential units. Tichao Nakurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
From Victoria Falls, we head to France, where Zimbabwean sprinter Tinotenda Bango clocked a personal best time in the women's 100-meter T47 semi-finals at the Paralympic Games in Paris this Tuesday.
Competing against the world's best, Bango crossed the finish line in 9th place with a time of 13.71 seconds, while Kiara Rodriguez of Ecuador roamed to victory in 12.18 seconds. Although she did not meet the required time to progress to the final, Bango achieved her personal best time, confirming her hard work and dedication. The 22-year-old Bango and fellow countryman Kodakwashi Chigwedere represented Zimbabwe at the Paralympic Games. The duo was part of the massive contingent of 4,400 athletes from 184 countries competing for honors at the Paralympic Games, which ended this Saturday. Bango's performance may not have yielded a medal, but she has undoubtedly inspired a nation with her courage and determination. Anna Shemrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
We're still looking ahead to the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, and Zimbabwe's opponents, Kenya, have been rocked by injuries ahead of their match against Zimbabwe that is set for Kampala, Uganda on Friday.
Kenya are under the tutelage of Turkish coach Engin Firat, who named a 30-man squad led by Captain Michael Olunga, who plies his trade in Oman, and France-based defender Joseph Okumu, who plays alongside Zimbabwe's Marshal Munetsi at Stade Rim. European-based midfielders Timothy Ouma, Eric Johanna, Eric Ouma, and striker John Ayunga of St Mirren in Scotland are some of the big names expected to carry the day for the Harambee Stars. Despite Olunga being named in the squad, Firat revealed that his captain will be assessed in Uganda, while Serbia-based defender Colin Sishenje will also miss the match against Zimbabwe after sustaining an injury in training alongside goalkeeper Ian Otieno.
Don't know why we are unlucky in FIFA days. We have always some injured players. Also other problems. So Daniel Anyembe, you know, Zach Wiener, you know. So yesterday's College Chien get injured in his match. So he will be also not available. Michael Olunga is a low chance. He will come for MRI, but like I said, it's low chance. So we lose already a lot of players for the matches, but we need to find solutions.
The Harambee Stars held their first training session this Monday in Uganda with a full squad complement after their foreign-based stars joined the locally based players who were in camp since Friday last week. Kenya hosting the Warriors at a neutral venue due to unavailability of approved stadiums in their country. Meanwhile, Warriors team manager Clemens Mantau has confirmed all players called into camp have reported for duty in Kampala. Warriors coach Michael Nisi is pleased with the development and the reception in Kampala.
We thank a lot to be here. In Uganda, the conditions are extremely good. I mean, I'm sure this is one of the best training pitches in whole Africa.
Kenya and Zimbabwe clash at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Kampala this Friday before the Warriors host Cameroon at the same venue 4 days later. Lawrence Tusida, ZBC News, Harare.
A potentially exciting encounter is on the cards in the Heart Women's Super League as ambitious Platinum Royals hosted defending champions Herentos Queens at Grisham Grounds in Rishavani this Wednesday.
Fresh from their participation in the CAFA Women Champions League COSAFA qualifiers in Malawi, Herentos Queens are eager to catch up on their games in hand and revive their title defense. Currently fourth with 40 points, Herentos Queens are 11 points behind league leaders Black Rhinos, although they have 3 games in hand. They travel to Rishavani this Wednesday to face Platinum Royals, who are just a place behind them with 30 points. With only 10 points separating the two teams, the match promises to be a thriller and has the potential to be a turning point in the league. Herentos Queens had a fairly easy weekend, scoring a 4-0 win over struggling Zeterapi Harare Queens to put pressure back on the leading pack. On the other hand, Platinum Royals will be seeking to exploit Herentos' recent fatigue and secure a crucial win and challenge for a place in the top 4. Anna Shemorombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
Right, that report there from Anna Shemorombedzi rounding off our look at sport. The weather report and forecast is coming up next.
Hello Zimbabwe and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast. Pleasure to be with you once again. We're generally sunny skies across much of the country with warm conditions persisting throughout the day, but it should get slightly warmer in the days ahead with morning still being cool, and a seasonal update is due soon beginning tomorrow. And as such for today, we're generally sunny skies across much of the atmosphere with just bits of cloud here and there, but nothing much to worry about. And tomorrow in the details ahead, we're still expecting warmer conditions across board, but the nights tend to be cooler as well as the early morning. So please take care, especially in the early hours of the morning where we see these temperatures mostly above 10 in most areas. By afternoon, it should get warmer across board with some areas even reaching the 30s, especially along the Zambezi Valley. And for our detailed forecast for the main cities, we're expecting it to be generally sunny and warm across board with temperatures slightly increasing as we get into the weekend. Same for Chinhoyi, where we're expecting a maximum of about 32 as we get into Thursday and Friday. Same for Gwanda and Gweru, we're expecting 31s in Saturday and Sunday. For Harare, we're expecting maximums of about 29 there about into the weekend. 34 into the weekend for Kadoma and 35 as we move out. Kariba at 35 also on Sunday, and Lupane going as high as 35 as we get into Sunday and Monday as well. Kwekwe at 34 into the weekend with mostly sunny skies. Same for Chinhoyi with a maximum of 31 and 33 into the weekend. Matobo at 33 by the weekend there. As we get into Thursday, we're expecting still sunny skies along with Victoria Falls getting about 34 and 35 in terms of our temperatures. And with that, we wish you a pleasant evening. It's back to the news desk.
The weather report and forecast bringing the main news to an end. Joy.
It's the end of the main news for tonight. From all of us here, it's good night.